Welcome to the Snickcast, the podcast that breaks down Nickelodeon's most iconic Saturday night lineups.
Join us as we discuss childhood favorites like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Kenan and Kel, and everything in between.
Today we're traveling back to Saturday, September 12th, 1992.
Living life in a 90s dream. Yes, Snick is on the TV, laughing with my best buddy. Yes, Snick, near so right, Nickelodeon all night.
Well, so there was some stuff that was going on in the world at this time.
What's happening on this Saturday in 92?
Look, if I just told you, what if I told you that the 50th shuttle mission, STS-47, with Endeavour happened that day?
I have to believe you because I'm not a history buff.
I can't tell if it was a day or night launch, but it happened. And, first African-American woman in space. How about that?
Blasting off into deep space.
I'm just the first in a long line of African-American women.
The absolute thrill of going where so few have gone. But now so many follow the path paved by Dr. Mae Jemison, a pioneer.
Oh, what a lady. What a lady.
She truly was a legend.
Beyond that, it's Boyz II Men is still going strong. They're still there.
The road has not met its end of the road yet.
And I don't think it will for a few more weeks. That's the craziest part.
Oh, Lord.
At the box office. This is kind of interesting. I'm sure you've seen the VHS tape of this because I feel like I always saw it at the store. Number one in America, Sneakers, starring Robert Redford and my dear friend Dan Aykroyd.
We can wrap you in a full bodysuit of neoprene heat-resistant rubber, or we can raise the temperature in Cosmo's office to 98.6 degrees, which is probably what we'll have to do because the neoprene would suffocate you. Either way, you've got a top speed of 2 inches per second. Any faster than that. And big guys with guns, but you'll probably do fine.
Is this the sequel to Air? Or the prequel to Air?
I like the idea of sneakers than Air. I think they're more sneakers like they're sneaking around.
Oh, okay.
But I love the thought.
Wow, okay.
But anyways, the number 2 is Honeymoon in Vegas.
Then what? I'll be arrested, put in airport jail? Just get your ticket and move on, okay? Get your goddamn ticket and move on!
And then number 3, a movie that's close to your heart, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Shall we begin?
And then we got our boy Clint still going strong at 4.
I've always been lucky when it comes to killing folks.
The box office is pretty consistent. There was longevity to movies at the box office back then.
What a time to be alive.
What a time. It's almost 8 o'clock. Should we...
We gotta sit on that orange couch and tune in to our favorite fashionista, Miss Clarissa, darling. Title of this episode is called The Return of Mafalda.
Yes. I thought it was going to be an ancient curse. I thought when I saw this title, she was going to be dealing with an ancient curse. We should probably say who Mafalda is. Besides an ancient Mayan curse.
Yeah, the ancient Mayan curse that is Aunt Mafalda, and she has been tasked with overseeing Clarissa and Ferguson while their parents are out of town. Clarissa worries that her demonstrative aunt will ruin her planned slumber party.
So remind me again, where are the parents going on this episode?
So this is a big side story. We get Papa Darling is up for an award for being a designer, and the award takes place at a conference in New York City. The conference is called the Abadaba, which stands for something about the Architect Bureau Awards Department. I don't know. It's something about architects and an award, and Dad's designed a bathroom that's got him a nomination.
I say we're getting a lot of Dad's architectural work in these last couple episodes, and I got to say, to go from a gas station, a multi-story gas station, to a small bathroom, it's quite a change. Dad does it all. So we're heading to New York for that. First thing that I was kind of thinking about was Kooky ants. I mean, we all had friends who had kooky ants. Some of us have kooky ants. What's your relationship with kooky ants?
I would say personally, I don't know if my aunt is full on in the kooky category. My aunt is pretty kick ass. I was never embarrassed about her as much as I was like, I want to be around her. And now that I'm at her age where she would have been my aunt during watching these for the first time, my aunt was and is pretty cool. I would be doing the same things.
Isn't it weird to think that we're now at that age of Mafalda, the ancient curse of Mafalda? And
what would you say your ancient curse is if there was an ancient curse of Uncle John?
It probably just, you remember in Dumb and Dumber when they go, you know what the most annoying sound in the world is? I think it would just be that noise. If you opened my tomb or rubbed a lamp or whatever, that's what it would be. Just that.
Mine would be the end of Thelma and Louise, where you would hear yours is a screaming noise, mine is the screeching of a car flying off a cliff.
Mafalda, you know, she comes in hot. I'd say that. That's
She comes
really
in very hot, and Clarissa's got a big slumber party coming up, and she's nervous that Mafalda is going to just ruin this thing out of the gate.
I actually understand that, you know, because you kind of get comfortable. You understand how your parents are during a slumber party, like if they're going to bug you during this time or that time. Aunt, who especially thinks that they're super cool, that's something you have to worry about.
And Mafalda, I don't know if you caught this, she comes out of the gate with a mom sweater vest, the one that your mom pulls out for Christmas and other holidays. Mafalda's got just a standard, regular, every day of the week horse sweater vest.
Exactly. She's got that vest. She's got almost like the macaroni made necklace.
Yeah.
Ferg and Sam, pretty sidelined in this episode. I don't remember them both having a whole lot to do.
I do know that Clarissa and Ferguson in a previous time had gotten these Lauderhosen, these German garbs that Aunt Mafalda had given them. And Clarissa refused to wear hers, but Ferguson decides he needs to wear his.
That's right, yes.
To suck up. And she, of course, loves it. I think you're right. We don't get a lot of Sam, but we do get Clarissa comes outside to catch a breath of fresh air, and Sam is grabbing the ladder to go up to her window, and it's the first time we actually ever see that point of view.
We see the magic.
We're seeing the window clank, him climbing in. This was him setting up to go in the window, and I really appreciated the creators for giving us that.
We should also say, this is the season finale, at least according to Nick Wikipedia. They say
Correct.
this is the season finale. Well, at least this is what they call the season finale. Not a through line in the series. It's
all over the place.
Yeah.
And next week clearly must be a rerun for them, but it'll be new for us. I want to go back to Dad because he's clearly a favorite of you and I. They're getting ready to go to New York, and Pops is deathly afraid of flying, we learn in this episode.
Which is wild. Now, do we know where they live? Do they give us ever a state, or do we just keep on assuming it's Florida because that's where the show was filmed at?
I'm going to assume that it's based in Florida, but I know that assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
Exactly. I mean, there's a gator. She has her gator for a while.
Who's not present in this episode, for the record, but I don't know that we've been told yet, or we haven't paid close enough attention.
So I'm assuming Dad's taking like a 2 or 3 hour flight. You know, the darlings are taking a 2-3 hour flight probably.
And he doesn't seem to do it very often because he has to listen to these tapes, these cassette tapes. For those of you listening, cassettes were a thing of the past.
We're not going to explain those in VHSs. If you don't know about them, it's hard to explain.
There's nothing to compare them to. But Dad is going through this calming, like cassette tape to chill him out about it. And I don't know how much success they had.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, do you know anyone who is a fear of flying? Do you have a routine when you're flying?
You know, I early days flying, and my mother is a hypochondriac of sorts, and I think I absorbed a little bit of that from her. I had a little bit of it, but then my sister married an aeronautical engineer in the military, and I've been pretty chill about flying because it's really riding in the car is maybe worse for you.
Yeah, that's what I always do think of that whole thing when people say like you have more of a chance just driving around than you do of actually, getting to a plane crash or even just have technical issues in a plane.
So that's calmed me down over the years. Turbulence, my wife thinks it's awesome, like a roller coaster. I'm still not really down with it, but I can tolerate it.
I think I'm actually with her. I don't. It actually is almost like a little rocking me to sleep. I can sleep like a baby through some turbulence. I mean, Clarissa wants to get the aunt out of this party equation. Now, Sam's dad is going to what sporting event is he going to?
He's a hockey fan.
Hockey, that's right.
He's a big hockey fan, and hey, coincidentally, so is Mafalda. So Clarissa has this friend, Hillary, who, I don't know about you, never heard of this person before. But
yeah, Hillary's brand new to me.
But apparently she's a close friend of Clarissa. Hillary...
Supposedly.
Hillary is coming. We see her for a hot second with Sam when they start to devise this plan to get Mafalda and Sam's dad to go to this hockey game together. Clarissa has this idea that, oh, wait, my friend Hillary, who you've known forever by some weird reason, it has a weird disease, that a weird flu that you can't explain. And Mafalda buys it, gets convinced to go to this hockey game with Sam's dad. They have the slumber party.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a love connection between Mafalda and Sam's dad. That's where I thought it was leading to, was there was going to be a romantic link.
It maybe still is an option, but they did get introduced very late into the episode. Clarissa calls off, quote unquote, her slumber party because her friend Hillary got this weird flu, and that allows Mafalda to go to the hockey game. Clarissa says, slumber party's back on. And then,
let's do it, girls.
So Mafalda goes with Sam's dad to this hockey game. Meanwhile, we get 5 brand new female cast members that are friends with Clarissa, and I couldn't help but go like, who the fuck are all these girls?
Yeah, where are these girls coming from? I thought Sam's her number one.
And her only friend, for that matter. And Sam's not even here.
She was apparently way more popular than we thought she was going to be.
So then, no, they're having a slumber party, and then Sam's ladder hits the window, and we're expecting to see Sam, but guess who comes through the window?
Who could it be?
Oh, Aunt Mafalda coming and crashing the slumby party.
She's so sneaky. She's so sneaky.
She really is. And you know what? She seemed to have her feelings hurt, and Clarissa, being just in tune with the world around her, as someone who explains a lot of stuff, she decides to go apologize to her aunt.
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking back, probably when I watched this when I was younger, I was like, that aunt was way out of line. And then now I'm like, gosh, my feelings would be so goddamn hurt if these kids didn't want to hang out with me.
She failed as a chaperone because, A, she left the house and left all these...
Yeah, mom and dad are probably going to be pretty pissed about that.
But also, just trying to make snacks and accommodate and make this the best slumber party ever. And Clarissa
and
really
there's girls bringing over guys. There's 7 minutes in heaven going on in the back. You know, it's just... it's getting crazy in there.
People were sucking down peach schnapps under the stairs.
I do like the idea of like Clarissa's like, we're just gonna watch a movie, and then it cuts to Mafalda coming back, and they're just all plastered and just like
Ferguson's making out with all the female friends.
Sam's like doing keg stands right there.
Clarissa, I wanted to do tie-dye t-shirts.
I want to do tie-dye t-shirts, watch The Grateful Dead, and get stoned with you.
And we were going to pull taffy. That was a thing. She wanted to pull taffy, which is a thing I kept expecting them to do, and it never happened.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little above the budget for the show. Like even the tie-dyeing, they're just like, let's just show them tying the shirts together.
That's
doing
good
a little dip. That's just a little good dip.
Well, so then Mom and Dad return after all this shenanigans go down. Clarissa and Aunt Mafalda seem to be on the same page finally. It seemed like they wrapped up the slumber party in a positive light. They all shared a doobie around the scary movie.
That would be awesome. The end of the episode was all of them just smoking a J.
In their new tie-dye t-shirts.
In Clarissa's room.
pulling taffy.
I love that. That'd be that's a way too complicated of a thing for me. I think if I'd be like, we got to choose the movie or the taffy. We got to choose.
Do both.
We can't do both. And don't talk to me.
So mom and dad interrupt the pulling taffy, doobie smoking reunion when everybody's hunky dory. Go to find out that dad got not one but 2 awards.
So that bathroom was on fire.
The bathroom was on fire, but also, more importantly, Dad got a pair of pilot wings from flying on the plane, which I don't think they do anymore, but back in the early 90s, if you were a youngster, you got a pair of wings from the airline pinned to you, and they were a pretty cool little pin.
I'm about to say, I got one. I remember I got one time, so it was nice.
Always wanted one, and that's maybe from watching Heavyweights where Gerald Garner got pinned and they called him Captain. It's another 90s reference for those of you listening. Ferguson got a magnifying glass, which was not the gadget he wanted. And it seemed like Mafalda and Sam's dad maybe left the door open for a little romance.
Oh, was there a little spark? Maybe I did not pick up on that part, the sparks flying.
Sam's dad was supposed to pick Mafalda up and take her to the airport. And that's how...
well, that sounds like they might not even go to the airport.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear there's a really nice Motel 6 right next to it.
You want to talk about pulling some taffy?
Let's see, what if the episode just ended with Mafalda? I want to call her Matilda, Mafalda, and Sam's dad just smoking inside the Motel 6.
Oh, wow.
But that was a good, you know what? That was a fun, went down easy episode. Again, crazy when we think about what season finales of shows are now, that was the season finale.
Yeah,
this year.
The loose ends that were tied up were introduced and tied up in 10 minutes.
Yeah. It would be also at the very end of this episode, it was a knock on the door. So police are like, we're here to see Mr. Ferguson. We think he might be connected with a murder.
He gets a zoinks and we zoom in on him. Credits roll. That would have brought us to 8:30.
Oh, what a time. I think let's roundhouse it over.
Let's do it. This epi right here is called, and based off of the various online sites, you got Crushes and Idealism, or you've got First Date.
So I wanted to surprise you. I knew when we were talking at the beginning that me and Anthony both watched a different episode right here.
Oh, wow.
I knew, but I wanted the wild card to happen. So I watched First Date, and I knew it the minute you said, yeah, it's weird, it had another name. And I went, oh, because I started watching half of that episode. And then I found First Date on YouTube. So,
oh, wow.
Listen, gang, we're also with this show. It's informative. We're here to help you out. Don't make these mistakes because there's a lot of misinformation going around. So I think what the smartest thing for us to do is let's do a little bit of both. I think this would be kind of a fun little thing because, yeah, I noticed it and I was like, wait a second. First Date's different than Crush. And I was like, this is really fascinating. Very different episodes. So listen, we're going to make this a 2-parter in a weird way because we're going to we'll do a little of both of them, but then we're going to come back when it's time for the other. So
I love it.
Let me tell you a little bit about First Date really quickly.
Yeah, break us down on First Date.
First Date is pretty much what you think it is. It's the infinite struggle to be cool. The boy and his dudes go to the mall where he meets the girl. They go out on the first date, which doesn't start promising. Do they find a way to make it work, or will immaturity rule the day? Well, guess what? A little bit of all that happens. I mean, it's they do everything in their standard fun, awesome way with this episode. Just so, since I know you didn't watch this one, they have one where they're doing a Paula Abdul Unplugged, like back when MTV would do like Nirvana Unplugged. They do a Paula Abdul one, which of course she would be awful if she was unplugged. And so that was like a real fun one. Instead of Band-Aid, on MTV. There was Kool-Aid, which was all about just being cool people. Exactly. One thing that you will appreciate when you actually watch this one is the guy playing the dad actually plays multiple characters on this episode. And I don't remember him going as deep into all these multiple characters last time. Usually it's just like one or the other. There's a great ballad at the end. Again, I don't want to ruin too much of it for you. The most interesting thing is at the end. You tell me if you notice this on any other episodes. It was dedicated to a guy named Jeff Porcaro. And do you know who Jeff Porcaro was?
Who's Jeff Porcaro?
He was the drummer for Toto. So,
wow.
died. And I was like, well, why were they saying this? So apparently around the time he died on August 5th in 1992. And I was like, oh, so they must have filmed this episode around then.
I was to say, it's like a month and a half late on this dedication.
And listen, I don't want to talk about people dying being funny, but if I died the way he died, I think people would find it really funny, which is at the age of 38, which is the age that I am at. He fell ill while spraying insecticide in the yard at his house.
Oh, no.
At his beautiful home in LA, just spraying, killing those bugs. Little did he know, he was killing himself. So this is why I'm never going to spray insect repellent or anything like that ever again in my life, or at least until I'm 39.
So this is a PSA for mask up or have a professional come and do it.
But anyways, I think I hit the big points on that one, but I think we should now go into the one that we both watched a little bit of, at least. So.
Okay, so we're going to come back and revisit.
Oh, we're coming back, baby. That's the thing. Because whether this one's the right one or what, First or Crushes is the right one, it doesn't matter. This is a two-parter. You're getting a two-part Roundhouse.
Oh, wow. And that's a roundhouse kick to the face in the best way possible.
Both sides, baby. Both sides.
That's what you call a little snick snack, a little teaser.
That's a little snickerdoodle dandy right there.
That's a true snickerdoodle dandy.
Let's see. What's a good Snick chef name?
A Snick Fiari.
Yes. There we go.
The whole thing is kind of like a diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I'll say if someone said described this show, they would not say this is like Chef's Table. They would not say this is like Anthony Bourdain shows. They go, this is like diners, drive-ins, and dives.
That is the smorgasbord of what we are.
We're like a show where you pour gravy onto macaroni and cheese.
Oh, you think you're going to a 5-star situation? No, we're going to damp it down a little bit.
I do. I've been to multiple airports where Guy Fieri has a bar at, and I do love all the names of the drinks have his name in it. He has for a Mai Tai, he has a Guy Tai.
Naturally.
A diarrhea, which actually, as I say it,
it's a diarrhea.
Sounds like, the minute I said it, sounds like you're going to get a lot of diarrhea. You went on the trip. How did it go? Oh, it was really good until I got diarrhea. You're like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh, it happened at the airport. It was at the airport. Well, give us a setup for the one that you watched the whole episode of.
Oh, the one I watched, Crushes and Idealism. Full-heartedly thinking I was watching the right one, and I will say
there are no wrong answers. There are no wrong answers. And
on that, I will say there's no wrong Roundhouse episodes. They set us up with like you're being born, and they explain childhood like it's a ride, and then they have this like umbilical cord bungee dive and a teeny tiny world, which is like it's a Small World parody.
Which they had a little wild. Snick was at Universal, and then there's Disney down the street, Disney World down the street. They're taunting the big kids. They're taunting the big kids right there.
And technically, these weren't the big kids, even though they were bigger than the other kids on Snick.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? And I don't ever research this, but how old are the cast members on Roundhouse?
We have no idea, except that these are talented people that we are enjoying watching. There's like a Dylan Mark Chadley character that they call out as a 3-named guy, which means he's really hot. and he pops up a bunch. I'm assuming he was like the 90210, like.
I mean, like, I think more modern ones, I say modern, it's still 20 years ago. Chad Michael Murray,
Exactly. We're going to go with that. He's like the Chad Michael Murray of his age. Trying to think from there, they had a Bratman, and they did the old 70s Batman younger brother who annoys his sister. They turned the couch.
Were you that? Were you a Bratman? Did you annoy the sister quite a lot as a child?
No, as the older brother, no. I probably did bratty things, but I wasn't. I didn't have the none brat man. It was not me. Were you?
No, I was the older brother. I just pick on her the whole time. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we both were in different seats for that. They did have the. I don't know how it was in First Dates, but the first time we actually see the hover couch was when the dad decides to take the family to an amusement park, and they use the couch as like a vehicle, and the whole family gets on the couch,
nice.
And the couch drives away together.
Oh, nice, yeah. And on First Date, they barely use the couch. There's not a lot of couch going on.
It's seeming like they are moving away from it, coming off of the first few episodes.
Well, they were going hot and heavy with it for a while, so they were going hot and heavy.
Anyway, Dad brags about having $30 at an amusement park. He thinks $30 is going to go a long way at the amusement park.
Wait if he went to Disney now.
Good Lord. I think they hit an animal or something. There's roadkill, and they stop at an IHOP, the interstate house.
Because there was no internet. There was no internet. It was the International House of Pancakes.
Yeah, it was Interstate House of Pancakes. They eat there because it's cheaper, and Dad's only got $30. There's a thing called the Whoopie Pass at the amusement park, where I guess it's like Fast Pass, but this Whoopie Pass is like you get a whoopee cushion, and you make a flashlight sound, and people scatter away, so you get to move forward in line.
Honestly, that is not a bad idea.
It's true. I don't know how well they'd sell, considering they moved up in line very quickly and said, "Oh wow, Dad, glad you got the Whoopie Pass." And Dad was like, "What are you talking about?"
I hope his delivery was like yours, because you just nailed it. You nailed it, dude.
So Dad's got a natural Whoopie Pass.
He's got a natural Whoopie Pass, baby.
There's something that made me laugh, and I'm a sucker for it every time. I love seeing dummies being thrown around. They have a moment where I guess Chad Michael Murray equivalent is at the park. Daughter's trying to get with Chad Michael Murray character. Her best friend ends up going with him, and they walk behind a flat, and then all of a sudden we see her friend goes, "Oh yeah, she got dumped," and this dummy body gets thrown across the stage. Which I just thought was a lot of fun. The last couple of things that I thought were worth noting was they had this thing called Mom Knee Vision, which was actually credited in the opening credits again.
Wow.
I don't know why. Our guy Ray Lee got a shout out on his sketch there.
Ray, you're just doing great work.
You are, or you're forcing these on us, because I don't know why it was called out versus any of the others. Because it was only like 30 seconds, but it was an ad for a mom camera, a handheld camera operator, where it will take the pictures out of focus. It just does all the things a mom would do if she was running the camera for you.
That's pretty funny.
They had a Smoggy the Bear ad, and he was speaking out against.
Wait, so you're saying you did? Wait, what did he speak out against? Sorry.
Smoggy the Bear speaks out against kids lighting flatulence in their jeans. I wanted to ask you on that. Did you ever, or were you ever a kid that lighted your flatulence?
No, we pooped in a bag and then burnt it on someone's doorstep. No, not lighting. Did you? You had to try it one time.
I will say I did try it, and I will say early success.
Really?
Early success. I was a big Dumb and Dumber fan and had to give it a shot. It worked, and then over time, it slowly started backfiring because you had to cut it off, or the flame goes the other direction.
Oh, that's true. It sucks in.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. So something about Smoggy Bear really man, I should have heard from him earlier in my life. Uh, from there, though, this is where the dad $30 comes in because dad gets a doofy dog, which is, I guess, their equivalent of Goofy. And the doofy dog was $25 or $29, and then plus tax was $1, so he spends $30 on a doofy dog. Chad Michael Murray finds out that dad's kind of a loser and thinks daughter is too. She gets embarrassed, and then Chad Michael Murray rides the teacups and kind of gets sick, and they fun him because he's Chad Michael Murray and he's riding teacups. Real cool.
And then getting sick, yeah. Jeez.
And then daughter, who I've done enough research to know that Crystal Lewis, she goes to tell dad that she's over Chad Michael Murray, and she does it in song. And it's another just beautiful ballad again.
She's great.
I feel like they lean on her to just bring it home with, like, getting to the heart of us, the heart of rock and roll.
We're starting to realize there's always a big song at the end of every episode. And then they undercut it so quickly by being like,
well,
roll credits.
Here's how they undercut this one. They hug it out at the end. Dad says, come on, I'll buy you a doofy dog. And she goes, well, what about them? And she points at the crowd. And he goes, oh, no problem. Reprise the theme song, roll the credits.
Keep watching. There's more Snick coming up next.
This episode of the Snickcast is sponsored by Nickelodeon GAC from Mattel.
What is GAC?
GAC is great stuff. Oozy. GAC is stretchy.
You can pull it. Make GAC sounds.
How rude.
Suck it up and squirt it out with a GAC back. Pump it up and blow it up with a GAC inflator.
Well, I never.
Nickelodeon GAC comes in different colors, sizes, and playsets, each sold separately. Coming soon from Mattel.
Disgusting.
Now back to Snickcast.
Wow. Here we are, 9 o'clock on Saturday night, and man, are we marooned in space.
I guarantee you we watched the same episode as each other this time. This is for sure. What was it? Okay, what was the plot of the first episode? Okay, I got it right here. It was after a crash landing on a strange planet. After a crash landing on a strange planet, Commander Hoek and Cadet Stimpy go. Did I say it wrong too? Again, we got to keep this in. If I keep on just saying everything wrong, Commander Hoek, Hoek.
I kept hearing Hoek.
Hoek. Okay.
I could be wrong, but I kept hearing Hoek.
Other Commander Hoek and Cadet Stimpy go about cataloging and reporting on the strange planet's inhabitants. But before long, and quite unexpectedly, an inhabitant takes a very close look at them. Ooh, that makes it sound way more. It makes it sound like an alien movie. Like it sounds like there's gonna be some chest bursters and stuff happening in this. After I just read that, I go, did I watch the right thing? It's like I was like, that is not what I got out of Marooned, and I know they went to space in it and everything.
Watching this, I was like, have we already seen this? I guess they're diving back into Stimpy's all-time favorite live-action drama.
Exactly. I kind of like that they keep on bringing us back into just a show that they're watching, and it's kind of making them the characters in that show. Because even they're a little bit more intelligent. I think I even wrote it's fun watching them play characters
I do love
in
that.
their show, which is good. Because Ren and Stimpy both play a different character. Like one kind of plays a Kirk and one kind of plays a Spock. Dumb versions of them, but they play them.
The ship crash lands. They say that they're marooned, just like the title of the cartoon, and that is a direct quote from them. Stimpy said, "We're marooned," just like the title of this cartoon.
Which is so funny. I do have to say, what I think is so funny is they use the Space Cadet Handbook. And I always
love this.
Yeah, this is a great gag, but also you can't help but thinking everything else is computers and they're just using a book. I mean, obviously for comic effect, it's just funny. Anytime there's an issue, they're like, let's go to the book. And then they want to eat it for a second? Is there a moment where they try to eat it?
their first hurdle is that they're hungry, and I think
That's right.
Stimpy tries to actually eat the book. I think Ren slaps him around and was like, "That's not right." They end up. I think Ren wants cabbage.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And I mean,
space cabbage.
And it looks. I mean, I could smell it through the screen. I'd probably do things on Fear Factor before I would. Like I would do the thing where I would do like the blended worms smoothie before I think I would do that cabbage. The way that thing looked, and then we come to find out that cabbage is alive. So
it's like a full-on Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
I do like as it's being served, Ren's like, "Is it stinky?" And Stimpy said, "Just the way you like it." But if Venus flytraps him, and then Ren kind of slaps him around to get it off of him. I think we next are at bedtime.
Yep.
And the moonlight is shining through in such a beautiful way that Stimpy wants Ren to see it. Ren goes to check outside of their space tent, and he knocks his head right into the moon because it's right up against it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really funny because, I mean, there's always that thing where, like, when the moon's really bright, you look out and you go, oh, it's really close. I mean, we can talk about a lot of other things, but I think we just need to cut to the chase. There's a very sexy chihuahua.
Oh, man, that's my next big notice. Sexy chihuahua. So Ren sees a sexy chihuahua and goes to flirt with it. Stimpy sees Ren flirting with this sexy bag of cat litter.
Yes.
So they're both hallucinating.
Which I could see my cat even doing in real life. But yeah, I found this whole episode pretty funny. Just the going into madness of being marooned on this planet.
It also felt like this was one of their earlier ones, like earlier than episode number we're watching.
Well, because the animation always seems a little rougher in the earlier episodes. As they got more popular, it always gets a little cleaner. Just kind of same thing with South Park. If you watch those early South Parks, they're a lot more dirty, and then the edges get smoothed out and all that sort of stuff.
An astute observation.
Class dismissed.
Ren and Stimpy broken down.
Welcome to Ren and Stimpy 101.
Oh my God, in the next few years, that could be a class.
I would have you know what I would do though? I would have there'd be a week where you'd have to take care of a log and make sure like it was okay, fed, everything like that. It couldn't get burnt or chipped.
Oh, I love that. You have to dress it up in costumes.
Yeah, you got to dress it. It'd be my whole egg thing that people always had to do as kids.
Oh yeah, that's
take care. You got to take care of the egg.
Take care of the log. You got to take care of your log.
I try.
I will say on that, this was the first one we've got that wasn't a log commercial parody.
No, yeah, we got a good commercial right here.
This one was called My Little Brother Doll. From the point of view of a young female, it was all the shitty things that your younger brother does or doesn't do that you get to blame him for. And had all these sayings that he's like, I spilled the thing, or I did it, Mom and Dad.
Probably would never happen, but
it was a nice little change up here.
Yeah, this episode felt a little different, like in terms of just like the structure. Again, I don't know if the commercials seemed longer.
I feel like Log came after this. I will also note, and this is where I defend that it was an earlier episode aired later. After this, we get a Ask Dr. Stupid segment.
Yes!
It's time for Ask Dr. Stupid with your host, Dr. Stupid.
Oh, hello there.
And now what was the ask?
Which I actually really loved these and forgot all about them. The ask was from a guy named Joe Bob Henry Jed. How come some camels have one hump and others got two?
I'd better put on my patented stupometron helmet. Prepare to activate. The answer's simple, really.
And comes up with the answer that says, this is where gasoline comes from. One hump for regular, two humps for premium and unleaded. And that was the whole Ask Dr. Stupid segment.
Again, I liked both these two these two little commercials in the middle. They were great.
I feel like we're going to see Dr. Stupid again.
I hope so. I honestly, kind of the fun of rewatching all these is I just forgot about all these storylines and characters that were in Ren and Stimpy episodes. So it's tons of fun.
Beautiful little gems. And what did you think about Untamed World?
Oh, I loved Untamed World. This one was kind of a little documentary style where Ren narrates over some footage of some, I like the description here in IMDb, some footage of curious flora and fauna. Finally, we were treated to a rare spotting of the Crocostimpy, which, beautiful. This one was felt like significantly shorter than the first one.
Oh yeah, very. It was set up like a classic safari guide documentary show where Ren takes us to the Galapagos Islands, and you get all these exotic creatures that are variations of Rens or Stimpys. Specifics that jumped out at me, there was a horny-billed Chihuahua. They definitely said horny-billed because they had to play it back. There's a needle-billed Chihuahua. There's a soft-shell Stimpy turtle who buries his eggs. The turtle hatches, and a seagull flies in who's on steroids, and you think he's going to just devour this little turtle, and then he ends up being a laid-back surfer asking for change because he's a freeloader.
That's pretty good.
And then in a cave, there's an albino Hoek, if we're saying that correctly.
That's right. Okay.
Who has a solar panel flies out of his skull and is able to detect flies. They replay it in slow motion, and you see that the tongue of the Hoek is a full-on forearm hand that slaps the fly around and then grabs it and eats it. And then they go to a Crocostimpy, where the crocs communicate with each other by screaming happy, happy, joy, joy.
That's right.
From then they try to tag a 5-toed yak. And the yak was their classic animation, which I love, that they make some of these animals super buff, out of control buff. Like a horse.
It's the horse with the rubber nipples.
The rubber nipples, yeah. Just the same kind of animation, but this yak is tiptoeing around. But then Ren gets tranked by Stimpy. And he goes into the slow-mo, fades out of life and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess I liked it enough that I wrote "shot with a tranquilizer." That's again. I wish right now I'm pulling at straws because also this is what happens also, guys, when it's been 30 some odd years since this episode happened. You start losing your memory.
This is why I have to watch within 48 hours of recording.
It's almost embarrassing how recently I watched this episode and I can't remember the end of it. But you know why? Because I think it's time to gather around the campfire. And let's light that fire, baby! So guess what? I did not like this episode at all. This is my least favorite thing I've watched since we started doing it. I was so mad as I was watching it. The idea that this is even creepy was funny to me. I have so many notes. I guess let's give them the synopsis before I start going down this rabbit hole of this stupid episode. Remember, Anthony's opinions are not mine. So, but I just want to say, I thought this was I would never, if I was an executive, I'd say, well, we can't show this. This is just the worst.
You know what's controversial about this? This is your girl. Knock off Alicia Silverstone.
I know. And this is the first time I actually realized what her name is. Kristen.
Yes,
that's her name.
Kristen.
Oh, I wrote a lot of notes about this dumpster fire of dog shit, and that's why this episode's called the Hungry Hounds. So the storyline for this one is just two girls go into the attic where one of them tries on a dead ant's uniform that belonged to her, and that the spirit still possesses or lives in. Okay, that should sound scary. But it's not at all. It is the dumbest thing.
I'm going to dumber it up because I don't deny what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's paled in comparison to scares.
Yeah, this episode begins with kind of a fun setup, though, which is the team's having a hard time lighting the fire.
Yeah, we're back starting at the fire.
Yeah, and they're going, man, we can't start. And they're like, and where's Chris? And she's supposed to be telling the story tonight. And then all of a sudden they start hearing a and they go, oh, what's that? What's that? And then Kristen comes around the corner, and she's with her is her hound dog named Elvis, who I will say, okay, gosh, I'm saying how much I hate this episode, but then there's a couple of really good ones. So she goes, this is my dog named Elvis. And then one of the other girls goes, my dad says Elvis is the king. Which I just thought was like, and so anyway, she's like, I brought Elvis here because he'll help with the story of the hungry hounds.
Which is our first animal cameo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, kind of giving away the whole idea of the episode, though, too.
Yeah, well, can I also say that Kristen, knockoff Alicia Silverstone, is late. She's coming late with said hound, and Egon, our boy Egon, meteorologist, is like, hey, man, we got to start making rules about people being late.
Yes.
I thought that was some weird shade early on.
Yeah, well, no, he's not the one who has a little crush on her. There's that other... Her and David, is that his name? Or Dorkface? Dorkface. But yeah.
Mr. Locket Giver?
Yeah. Stop handing those out. He hands those out to everybody. This isn't his first date. That's taking it back to one of the roundhouses. But I mean, so it starts fun enough with two girls rummaging through the attic. And then one of them puts on an old dress that someone was wearing and kind of spooks out her friend. They're not relatives. They're just friends, right? These two girls.
They're cousins.
Oh, they're cousins.
Kim and Amy, cousins.
Kim and Amy. Oh gosh. Okay. And then, so yeah, they're rummaging through the attic, and then one tries to spook the other one by wearing a old wedding dress. And then I was like, okay, we're getting into some creepy stuff. Then they see a chest and they can't get into it. And they say, hey, come on, how can we get into this? And they're like, hey, if there's any spirits in here, if you could give us the combination. And then they kind of just rummage.
Asking for it.
Yeah.
Asking for it.
They're saying, we need to be haunted. But then this is where it gets so dumb. Then they go out to the stables, or they're watching a horse in the field. And then this weird music. And if we can add just a little bit of that music, maybe right now.
In a haunted stable dark as night lived a horse that gave a fright. Every neigh, a ghastly cry, made the bravest shiver sigh.
So already all of you are saying, oh yeah, this is stupid. Because I can't tell you how, and I watched this episode twice because I was like, maybe I was just being a butthead about it. I was like, this is a bad episode. So she sees a horse and she's like, oh, I want to go pet it. And she goes and starts rubbing the horse, and then it kind of gets frightened and she falls off the fence.
What I thought was weird is the horse doesn't get spooked by her touching it. Stupid mom comes and lays down on the horn of her car.
Yeah. Mom, you're in your Volvo, your 92 Volvo. Can you just
calm down? You just spooked the shit out of this horse.
Now, Mom has, I guess, a good reason to not like the horse because her sister died at the stables,
30 years
ago. That's like us doing this show. And we're talking about how Anthony saw a relative die at the stables by the hounds.
Watching Snick 30 years ago.
But anyway, so eventually they decide, we need to talk to the spirit up in this, to open this chest. Let's get out the old Ouija board and have a good time.
When in doubt, get the Ouija board out.
It's a surefire way to just get ghosts and spirits. And I've seen The Exorcist enough to know I ain't touching it. Those things aren't coming in my house. They ain't coming in my house.
We ain't doing it. No, we're still going to stick to Life. We're going to stick to Monopoly.
Yes.
Or another
when you said Life, I meant, I just don't want to know about the dead. But yeah, the game Life. I'm with you.
But also just life in general.
Yeah, I just really just want to live in general and not be possessed. And so guess what? They play with the Ouija board. The Ouija board gives them the combination to that chest upstairs.
Do you remember what the Ouija board says?
No, I didn't, because I fucking hated this episode. What did the Ouija board say?
Well, in an unpredictable shed of light, the Ouija board spells out LETMEOUT. Cousin Amy goes, let me out.
Is that Latin? Is it Latin? French?
And Amy's like, no, bitch, let me out. And then it carries on and goes 1, 4, 9.
And so
they go, oh, hey.
Oh, hell yeah. And so then they go upstairs and they open that sucker. And then when she puts on the old riding outfit of the dead aunt.
Well, can I note this before she puts the jacket on?
No,
There is, and I got to give it up to the tech guy here. There is a flood of fog from the fog machine.
Yeah.
It's like an unnecessary amount of fog coming from the fog machine to reveal this pristine horseback riding gear.
Do you wonder if the director was like, I want some fog, and that guy was just like, the guy on the crew was like, how much fog you want, baby? Like,
and then the director's constantly like, more fog. That's what I felt like was going on. There was so much fog.
Yeah. So then she puts it on, she gets possessed, and
instantly
possessed. And of course the cousin's like, wait a second, hey, you gotta take the sucker off, but now she's in too deep. She starts gravitating towards
she walks towards this circle window, which I admit is an awesome window, but not like a small circle on like a cruise ship. It's a giant window that a human could walk through. It opens, she does. There's this magical staircase going down to, guess what? A smoke machine river.
Where do these stairs go? They go down.
They go down into a fog machine's paradise where there's more fog flowing like a rapid river into the woods.
Oh, and then we get our boy. Then we get ghostly dude.
Oh yes, they arrive at the Peace family plot, not the Please family, but the Peace family plot. Pam, our girl that's possessed right now, is like sniffing a bone.
As one does.
On her aunt's grave. She says something in French, it sounds like, and cousin Amy's like, what the fuck? Pam's like, oh, it was a gift from the fox. And she reminisces about this little red guy, and it seems like it could be sexual, but I'm not sure. She tells a story about how the hounds chased the fox away, and your boy, scary old man in overalls, sad to report, sidebar, is not Dr. Vink.
Yeah. This guy looks like he got locked in the smog machine. He is so white. They put so much powder on this dude to make him look ghostly.
And he did not.
That guy's also credited with fog machine, with running the fog machine.
He has creepy old dude in overalls / fog machine facilitator. She says, oh, I gotta feed the hounds. And then he says, through all the fog, he says, hey, you should have fed them when you were alive.
This is the most convoluted plot that they've ever had. Because first off, the horses really have nothing to do with this episode.
I'm with you, and it's the same as going back to our original cab episode. There's this whole episode about a cab, and we got these hounds, which we haven't seen or heard from at all, and we're probably 2/3 of the way through this episode.
Yeah, besides knock off Alicia Silverstone bringing one to the campfire, we don't know what's going on. So eventually we come to find out that she didn't feed the hounds.
They run to the barn. She's still possessed, wants to go let these hounds out. We start hearing them bark finally.
Yeah.
Finally getting dogs appearing in the episode 20 minutes in.
You know what's so funny though? So, I mean, the hounds are not scary. They're not scary. They're actually smiling.
I literally wrote down these cute dogs, these cute doggies come at her that are not terrifying at all.
These are the evil things that we're meant to be scared of. Is these like they couldn't get some that just had like nasty drool on their face, like missing an eye. You know, give us something. Instead, they were just adorable looking.
I would have played with all of them.
As they ate me alive.
Amy finds out she's dragging a big bag of kibble, which comes to be a plot piece that we need to know. She drags a bag of kibble. It's too heavy for her, and a possessed Pam lets out the pups. They come at her, but a fox, the French fox,
was hiding.
Runs.
Yeah, hiding in the haystack. Runs out.
And he does he just cuts across from her. We only get moments with this fox. I guess the fox actually saves them because he detours the scary, scary hound dog puppies.
I know it sounds like we didn't watch the episode, but we did. It's so confusing, and none of it makes sense, guys. We're not making this.
The only thing that makes sense to me is that the fog machine operator got double time pay on this.
Yeah. And he got his SAG card.
That's the old man in the overalls. He got his under 5. Well, naturally, the girls return through a blanket. I'm talking multiple bed covers of fog back to where they came from. And as they get back into the attic, our girl Pam's taking off the jacket, doesn't know what her girl Amy's talking about. What do you mean? There's an old man in overalls, and there's doggies and kibble and a fox. I don't know what you're talking about. Ha 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 ha. Back to the kitchen.
Back to the fire. And then how does the episode end around the fire? It's kind of like Elvis is king, you know?
That would have been a better ending. But instead, no. We get knockoff Alicia Silverstone telling us the end of the story at the fire. We don't see the end of the story. She says that the girls proved themselves, and now they get to take riding lessons. And Mom's now over her sister's death 30 years later.
It only took 30 years.
And then we got Egon. Egon gives us a corny line about, hey, I guess their dogs aren't barking anymore.
Actually, that might be the best line in the whole episode. I got to tell you, and again, huge fan of Are You Afraid of Dark. It's probably actually that and Roundhouse are my 2 favorite things to watch each week when we do this.
I'm with you.
I was so bummed out. There's nothing fun and appealing about this episode to me in the slightest.
And I got to say, just to hammer it home about how they're still missing the mark, they have not figured titles of their shows yet.
No.
Till the Hungry Hounds.
It should have been What's in the Fog Machine. That's what it should have been.
And who got their SAG card?
Fog Machine is king.
Way scarier already.
Now we're at the 10 o'clock hour, which means it's time for us to check our emails.
Tune in every week. Got a question, gotta speak. Nickelodeon on the line. Let's chat. It's podcast time.
Did you get any messages on our social media platforms, our X, our MySpace, our Vines? Did you get anything?
On our X Vine, I got a question that jumped out to me, and it's currently relevant.
Oh, okay.
Depending on when you listen, somebody by the name of @HoldOnHolden
oh my gosh.
Said, what Snick character would you be for Halloween?
Ooh. Right now, I want to be Ferguson 30 years later. I want to be shaved head, prison Ferguson. I want to be Ferguson out of prison.
Working at Max.
I think honestly, like a Mr. Darling seems like a fun one. How about you?
I think if I had the means, and I'm just piggybacking off of you, I would be Dad from Roundhouse if I could make a couch move around.
There you go.
Like a lawnmower or something that I could crank up and ride around.
Or Jeff the Fog Machine guy. I know.
Based off of this episode, Jeff the Fog Machine guy, hands down.
I think Ferguson 30 years later feels interesting. It feels good.
I feel like that's a costume though that you have to explain to a few people.
Yeah, I go. You remember Clarissa? And she had a little brother, a little dweeb. Well, what he did is he murdered a lot of people, and he became a neo-Nazi in prison. Got really buff. Then he turned like 35 and he stopped working out. So, he started getting a little more loose in his body,
So I'm the Zim Blaster.
So I'm Zimby. I'm the Zimboni. That's what they call him in prison. Zimboni.
It's our next piece of merch. Zimboni.
Find that on the Snickcast merch site.
We've got Zim Blaster t-shirts and we got Zimboni merch.
Also available at every adult bookstore you go to. The Zimboni.
Fog not included by Fogmaster Jeff.
Sex Fog by Fogmaster Jeff. It's like the Snickcast adult care package.
I love that our merch store is growing so rapidly.
Yeah, it's amazing. Unfortunately, we didn't get any questions on our Gmail snickcast@gmail.com. But I did get well, this is actually very concerning. I got a email from a lawyer saying it came from Blowhards and Associates. What's interesting, it's the W silent. They're blaming us and saying they're going to execute legal action against us if we don't get his daughter home, Rebecca. I just found out.
Rebecca?
So Rebecca's dad apparently listened to the show and now is him and Blowhard, again, W silent, accusing us that we're the reason his daughter broke into her friend's house, lived there, murdered some people, went into juvie, escaped from juvie, and now is running around to shank somewhere.
Oh, boy.
I know. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. The merch stuff was all going really good. We might actually need to start selling the merch just to pay off these legal fees because it sounds like we got a battle ahead of us with Rebecca's dad, Mr. Sampson.
And we definitely do not condone the Zimbonis to be used as shanks.
Yeah, no shanks. But I guess if Rebecca's out there listening to us somewhere at a Motel 6, we're here, all right? Just go home to your dad. You can listen to the show there. It's actually probably way more convenient.
Yeah, and through the front door. Don't do the ladder up through the window of the second floor again.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Your dad also seems like the sort of guy that if you go up through the window, he might threaten legal action. That's all I'm saying. So
I did not foresee this coming.
I'm a little worried about this. I mean, this might put the show in jeopardy. So again, we have to just respect their wishes. Maybe just not talk about Rebecca as much. We got to be safe about this, you know. We got to be careful. I just don't want us to get into trouble. So anyways, guys, girls, let's all just hope that she gets back. Rebecca, go home, be with your father. So Blowhard, W silent, does not, take us to court. That's all I'm asking. Guys, gals, thanks for listening. Again, go to the merch store, have some fun, turn on those smog machines, and remember, Saturday night is Snick night, baby.